Hey guys, how we doing today? This is Dan coming at you with another knife review. Today it is going to be on the Case Trapper, item number 6984, sub number 6254 CV. This knife was made January 5th, 2012. It is a Trapper model with dark red handles. Okay, if you want a little more information on this knife, go to wrcase.com. Bottom one right there, link will be also in the description box. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get down to the knife. This is the Case Trapper with the dark red bone handles. Pictures don't really do the dark red on this knife justice, but I definitely like it. It's a good knife. Let's talk about it. Weight on it is 4.32 ounces. The length open, with one of the blades open, is 7.7 3/8 inches, as it is right here. Clip point blade here is 3 inches. Cutting surface, spade blade here is also 3 inches. Again, blunt tip, so it's not going to cut you. Width of it is 1/2 inch, as you can see here. Red bone handle, as I mentioned. The Trapper model itself has been with Case Company for years and years. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of Case models, anywhere from this to plain bone stag handles to, you know, an Iraqi Freedom version. The list goes on and on. If you got to do more of a piercing cut, you know, stabbing into something to cut it, you just pop it and cut it. The clip point blade will be a little better because it's got the better belly for cutting right at the tip there, so it's going to pierce better. Spade blade, blunted tip, not as good. It'll be more for straight cuts. Now, both blade is better suited for its own task, cutting in straight edges, as I mentioned. Spade blade for me would be more of a backup option in case the clip point blade is dull. So I'm going to keep the spade blade like a fucking razor, and I'm going to keep the spade blade, or the clip point blade, as a user. Now, this one is extremely collectible, as I mentioned, you know, all the different models. But it's also very good to pass down to your children because it's something that, you know, the grandfather would carry in a family. Like, my grandfather carried a Case for years. I actually got that one. I mailed it to Case for some work, but it's neither here nor there for this review. Main use of this knife, as I'm dropping it, main use for this knife will be as a backup knife to my main blade. May it be a Spyderco Spiderfly if I'm around the house, or a Kershaw needs work if I'm, you know, out and about. But also as more of a dress knife where something like these aren't going to be a good option. Whether it be a funeral or a wedding or a corporate occasion, if you may happen to work for a corporate occasion or corporation, where a big, you know, folding tactical knife isn't going to be the best of ideas to carry. Now, tolerances on this knife are phenomenal. I do not see any issues whatsoever when it comes to tolerances. Blade centering on these is not perfect, but I don't care. Blades open fine, blades closed fine. Not a big deterrent for me and doesn't really faze me. It's got nickel bolsters, I believe it is, brass liners. So I'll be able to show you right here. We got the yellowish brass liners, and then the stainless steel, or not stainless, but chrome vanadium, I believe it is, backspacers. Knife is very nice. I do love it. You know, the blades are polished, which, you know, it's gonna rust. It's gonna help retain rust, but because it's a chrome vanadium high carbon steel, it is going to rust still. All the polishing does is it helps to cut down the amount of rust that you're going to get. So having the polished blades, definitely a nice feature. I personally don't like polished blades, but for this it's going to do its job. Now, one thing that I do want to touch on is quality. When it comes to quality, you can get slip joints from China, Taiwan, Mexico, Japan, if I didn't mention that, UK. I know Spyderco's got their UKPK, a couple others, but when it comes to slip joints, Case is relatively new to me, though they are a very old company. They are new to me. Blades came razor sharp. I gotta touch them up just a little bit because I've been using it. This paper I have isn't the best, but it's gonna cut regardless. At the end where the paper's loose, it kind of rolls it around and it doesn't cut. But it does cut. It cuts pretty well. You know, high carbon, as I mentioned. High carbon, you can get a phenomenal edge on if you put some time into it. Spade blade here. Again, whoop. The paper I'm using is junk notebook paper, so it's not very good. If I had computer paper, I'd print that, but this is just notebook paper, and just not doing all that well. The spade blade, as you can see, well, if it hits you and it torques, it's going to rip, but for the most part, it's not going to cut you. Now, this is a little larger than I expected. I bought this sight unseen. I didn't really do my research on it beforehand, so it's a little larger than I was expecting. I was expecting something in the, you know, the 2.5 inch blade region. I read specs on it, I couldn't picture it, and I didn't do the research, so it's my own fault, but I'm kind of happy because it's more comfortable. Now, let's do some size comparisons just to put it in a ballpark range. Kershaw needs work here, compared with the Case Trapper here. Handle length is going to be about the same, though the needs work will be a little bit more comfortable because of the blade shape. Blade length is relatively about the same as well, maybe an eighth of an inch of a difference, if that, between the needs work and the Case Trapper. One knife I found that's very close in size to it was the Swiss Army one-handed Trekker. Going from blade to blade, blade length is about the same, maybe an inch of difference to the the Spyderco. The Swiss Army here, if you go by where the tools start and end, they're the same. Now, I do like that I keep wanting to call a Swiss Army a Spyderco. The Spyderco does have the one-hand opening hole. It will be a little better in my book, but it is a left-handed liner where it's not right to left as most are, it's left to right, so you gotta push this way. Not really a fan of that, but when it comes down to it, both are about the same size, give or take an inch, if that, maybe an eighth of an inch. It's about a quarter inch. But I find that for like a dress occasion, this is going to fly a lot better than something like this will, because this is larger and bulky, and it's got the one-hand opening, which it might make it look a little quote-unquote tactical for the situation. Where this here is just going to look like a gentleman's folder, like you're ready for anything as a gentleman should be. Ouch! I just poked myself. See if I bleed from that one. Anyways, guys, that's this is my Case Trapper. Definitely a fan of it. If you guys want any more information on it, feel free to message me, comment on this video, do what you gotta do. Again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. The website for this knife is wrcase.com. Box went flying across the room, so I can't get that for you, but I know that's the website. It'll be annotated here somewhere. And if you have any specific questions, you're more than welcome to ask them as well. Just remember, guys, Case Knives, American made. I'm a patriotic motherfucker, and I like it. It's American quality at its finest. Just remember, life's short. Stay sharp. Have a good one, guys.